History is full of skilled people who didn't survive. Trained soldiers, experienced outdoorsmen, seasoned sailors, and competent workers have all died in situations that on paper they should have handled. At the same time, there are countless accounts of ordinary people with minimal technical ability who lived through disasters, battles, and expeditions that killed others. The difference was rarely strength or knowledge, it was composure. Survival does not reward the most capable person in the room. It rewards the one who remains mentally intact when conditions strip away certainty. Skills depend on memory, sequencing, and fine motor control. Stress attacks all three. Cold reduces dexterity, fear narrows attention, fatigue degrades judgment. Even well-rehearsed actions break down when adrenaline spikes and the brain shifts into threat response. History shows this repeatedly, from shipwrecks to battlefield retreats to wilderness accidents. Calm, on the other hand, preserves function. It slows breathing, stabilizes vision, and keeps the brain in problem-solving mode. A calm person may know fewer techniques, but they can still think clearly enough to apply the ones they do know. When explorers wrote about why men died on expeditions, they rarely blamed ignorance. They blamed panic, stubbornness, and impulsive decisions. Journals from polar expeditions describe experienced men abandoning shelter to just check something and never returning. Military after-action reports repeatedly note that casualties occurred during chaotic movement, not during deliberate action. The people who survived were often described as steady, quiet, and methodical. Not the strongest, not the most knowledgeable, simply the ones who did not unravel under pressure. Every survival situation runs on a finite energy budget. Panic spends it rapidly. Rushing, arguing, unnecessary movement, and emotional reactions burn calories and body heat without improving outcomes. Calm behavior does the opposite. It slows movement, reduces heat loss, and prevents pointless effort. In cold environments, calm people stop early, insulate, and wait. In deserts, they seek shade and minimize exertion. In disasters, they avoid stampedes and secondary hazards. Survival favors those who protect their energy first and solve problems second. A poor decision made calmly can often be corrected. A good decision made in panic often cannot. History shows that many fatal choices were not wrong in theory, but disastrous in timing. Leaving shelter at night, crossing terrain when exhausted, continuing movement during storms. Calm people. Well, they delay action until conditions improve or information is clearer. They're not indecisive, they're patient. And honestly, that patience prevents cascading failure. Stress, narrows perception. Calm, on the other hand, preserves it. Survivors consistently report noticing small environmental cues that others missed: wind shifts, animal behavior, terrain features, changes in weather. These details, they inform safe movement, shelter placement, and resource discovery. Skilled people who panic, they stop seeing patterns. They fixate on single solutions and ignore alternatives. Calm people, though, remain receptive. In group survival situations, panic is, contagious. So is calm. History shows that groups with a steady leader survived longer and with fewer losses than groups with technically skilled but emotionally volatile members. Calm individuals stabilize others, reduce conflict, and maintain routines. These routines, meals, watches, shelter maintenance, are what keep groups functional under stress. Skills require tools, practice conditions, and memory. Calm requires discipline and awareness. It can be trained through exposure, reflection, and restraint. Historical cultures emphasized mental control because they understood its value. Warriors, travelers, and laborers were taught to suppress reaction and conserve energy. Modern survival culture often reverses this, focusing on techniques while ignoring mental regulation. But history suggests that is actually backward. Calm does not replace skill, it enables it. Without calm, skill is really inaccessible. But with calm, even, limited ability becomes effective. The people who survived history's worst conditions were not always the best trained. They were the ones who, honestly, kept their minds from becoming another casualty. So, if this kind of historically grounded survival thinking matters to you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and share this with others who understand that survival begins in the mind long before it ever reaches the hands.